What's happening? So we are back. We are going to be finally working on putting the rockers on this turbo Silverado. Gave you guys the introduction last video. That'll be part one. Figured I gotta throw rockers on this, so I might as well show you how I do it. Not sure if it's the correct way to do it, but just a little how-to video for you. Kind of show you what to do, or you guys tell me what I did wrong. We're gonna be throwing on just some slip-on style covered rocker things. I also bought the cab corners just in case, because I have gotten into jobs where you start cutting the rockers off, you grind out the cab corners a little bit, and there's no metal left in the cab corners. So I also got the cab corners as well, so that way we don't have to wait for parts once we start getting into this thing. But basically what we're going to do is we got our 4-inch grinder. We're going to take that and we are going to cut probably right around along this line here. That way it actually leaves a little bit of metal on there, so the new rocker can lay right on top of the old rocker. And then underneath, I'm going to cut it right along there as well. Leave that old stuff there, go right over the top of it with the new one. It should all come out nice and uniform once it's all done. But I will basically just let the camera roll and stop and give pointers along the way, or whatever I feel necessary. But yeah, I'll show you guys what I do. Always remember safety glasses. I also toss in some noise canceling headphones. That way I don't have to listen to the grinder the whole time. So I'm going to toss these in, and I'll see you in a little bit. So we got the top cut. Well, somewhat cut. So like I was saying, just leave about, I don't know, ½ inch or so. Cut it off right before the bend. That way the old one still has something to sit on. I think what I'm gonna do before I cut the bottom, I think I'll probably just jack the truck up. That way I got a little more room to work with. Now we're just going to cut right along here. Basically open it up. Kind of let us see what we're working with. So now that we got it all cut out, we'll just grind all the paint smooth. I'll show you underneath here what's going on. So I basically just cut a huge window in it. Got up in here. This is the first I've ever seen this. This is the first single cab I've done. Now, normally they're an extended cab or a crew cab 4-door. But I just cut out basically everything that was rusted. I like to leave the bottom. For one, I hate drilling the spot welds out. For two, I figure it gives it a little extra metal. It's not really rotted, so why not layer it up? The hole is up in this area. This all seems pretty intact. We will go in here and basically spray some primer and everything in there to stop that from rusting. I haven't decided whether or not I want to cut this out yet. Usually I cut them right at the cab corner. That seam is usually just seam sealer. It's not even welded in there. So I just cut it right there, rip it off. And I usually lay the new rocker over the cab corner, so it's not even going to have this seam anymore. It's not a perfect job. You can tell it's the rockers been put on the truck, but there's no hole and there's no rust. So usually it ends up looking good. So you can actually see what how Chevy does it. The rocker slides into the cab corner right here, and then they literally just put fucking seam sealer all along there to fill it in. I don't know, it works, I guess. I think we'll clean the metal up. I'll switch out my I'll switch it out for, looks like I got 60 grit. but we'll put a flat disc on it and just grind everything down quick. Alright, so now we got everything ground down. Looks like the cab corner is still going to be pretty good. Got a lot of good metal, it's not going anywhere. But as you can see, we ground it all down. We got this all ground down. I think what I'll probably do is grab this rocker, start fitting it. Now, this is also the first time that I actually bought the rockers that are kind of form. They got a bend, so it would tuck up in there, and it would basically give the factory look. We'll put it up there. We'll see how it looks. We'll see which way I want to do it. Not really sure yet. Alright, sorry about that. We had to batteries died in the GoPro. Had to shut you off for a second. But in the meantime, we got one side fitted somewhat nice. I'll show you. So we got one side cut, still needs more fitment, but just to give you a quick look, we cut it right there. We'll end up welding it right along. And then, like I was saying with the back, we're just going to place it right over the rocker, weld it up, throw some body filler on it. Won't even be able to see the seam or anything. So, since I cut this one, and you guys weren't able to see that because the GoPro died, what I'm going to do is I'll film just cutting and trimming this side. Pretty much just put it up there, rough cut it, get it to the general area, and just keep working the metal until it fits. A rough cut done. Yeah. So pretty much that's what you're looking at. Underneath, like I said, we'll just weld that up there. On it, and then we'll start welding it on. I forget another thing that I do. To get it welded to the underneath, I actually drill holes, pretty much like the factory does, all the way down this. That way, there's something to weld to. I'll hold it up there with a pair of vice grips, and then I'll weld through the spot weld to hold it up there. So we'll start drilling these out. Battery still. So all these are 1/4-inch holes. 1/4-inch drill bit. Just rip some holes in the metal. I don't know. I went every one on this one, every other one on this one. I don't know. As long as the panel doesn't fall off, you're all set. Alright. So, what we're going to do now is basically scuff the whole backside of these. Maybe I'll brake clean them first. But basically we're going to clean the backside, scuff it up, prime the backside, so that way when we put it on, it doesn't rust out in like a week. Nothing fancy. While the paint's drying on the rockers, we're just going to go ahead and hammer some primer on the inner rockers, like I was talking about before, where it's kind of starting to rust up in here. We blew all that out, and now we'll just hammer some primer in there. It's designed to stick to rust that's already there, just to protect it as much as possible. Yeah. Anywhere where the metal's going to overlap each other like that, what I like to do is put a little weld through primer on there, just so that there's not bare metal getting sandwiched in between as you actually go to weld it. That way it's not going to rust in between. So basically, this whole thing down at the bottom here, we'll spray some of this weld through primer on there, and then we'll start welding the rocker on. Vice grips, they make the job a lot easier. Hold them up, hold the rocker up on the bottom while you weld it. Always need a body shop hammer, aka the ball peen hammer. So just to show you what we got going on, basically we got the vice grips on the bottom, holding the rocker on, and now we're going to work on just welding this top together. Basically I put the vice grips on the bottom just to get the shape of the rocker on the top correct. And it just holds it all together so that it'll weld better. Now look, your welds, they're going to look like shit. You're not running beads on this. Just tack it up. The more heat you put into the panel, the more it's going to warp. So try to keep heat out of the panel. Move around with your spot welds. That's what the grinder's for, actually. Alright, now is usually when you start getting nice and burned. We're going into the truck, shit's gonna fall on us, it's not gonna be fun. I'll bring you underneath. So basically what I'm doing is, I'm moving the vice grip down each time and clamping it right by the spot weld, so that way the metals are nice and flush together and the weld will penetrate, making a nice basically tucked up very nice. Done. Alright, well, my buddy Jake just showed up with some beer, so we're gonna call it a night. I'll show you where we're at. So we got the top all welded. Like I said, welds are not gonna look pretty. That's what the grinder's for. Just gotta finish welding up this corner, weld the bottom, grind everything smooth, and start laying some body filler. That's it for tonight.